Welcome to Maui. So many people fall in love with this island, and it is not hard to see why. It's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, I bet most of us, when we think about Hawaii, we're picturing Maui in our heads. It's this beautiful mix of beaches and lush jungles and volcanoes, and there is so much to do. I'm going to take you along on a tour of a few things, but it's so impossible to fit it all in. So this is kind of just going to be your guide to the beginning of Maui, and then it's up to you to go discover more. So we are going to check out some sunrises, and we are going to check out one of the most beautiful drives in the world, and a little bit more. So let's go. The first thing to think about when you visit Maui is, where are you going to stay? Because there are a lot of different resort areas, and each of them offer their own little vibe. But it's also a big island, and it takes a long time to drive between them. So you want to base yourself where you're going to be doing most of your activities. So there's the Kaanapali area, which is where a lot of the resorts are based, and they tend to be a little bit more affordable, and they're on the beautiful Kaanapali beach. This is where you're going to see those whales going right by in the winter, and that's pretty magical. And there are a lot of restaurants and shopping in the area, and it's only about a 5-minute drive down the road to haina, which is a gorgeous town full of art galleries and restaurants. And then there's Wailea, which is on the south side of the island, and it tends to be a little calmer there. There are a lot of resorts, but they're more high-end, so it's a little bit more peaceful and less rainy and less windy. Both are really beautiful areas, and I stay in both often, so I can't recommend one over the other. It really just depends on you and what you're looking for. But if you really want to get away and just completely be remote, you go to Hana, which is so remote. It's just kind of off by itself in its own little world in this tropical jungle, and it's one of the most peaceful, beautiful places I have ever visited. I am at the top of Haleakala National Park, 10,000 feet above sea level on top of a dormant volcano. I am above the clouds. It is freezing cold up here because I got up at 3 a.m. so I can make it here in time to watch the sunrise, which is a really popular activity. And the thought of waking up at 3 a.m. sounds awful, but it is so worth it, and I hope you try it out. You're gonna get up here and the view is incredible. You're going to see native species, endangered species, species of plants and animals that can only be found on the top of this volcano. And besides, when else are you ever going to see the sunrise from the top of a volcano? But something to note, that if you do want to be here for sunrise, there are reservations required through the National Park Service between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. But if you want to come up just during the day or to see the sunset, no reservations needed, just come on up. Also, it does take about a half an hour from park entrance to get to the summit, so just plan accordingly so you don't wake up early and find out that you missed the sun coming up. That would be awful. Also, I'm so cold. Oh my gosh. Okay, but when I get down to the bottom of the mountain, it's going to be 80 degrees. Don't forget to pack warm clothes. You cannot come up here in a tank top and shorts. I have all of my winter gear, and my hotel gave me blankets. They packed them in my car for me and made sure I was all prepared and ready to go. So maybe you can ask your hotel concierge to do that for you too. I'm here in the Eow Valley, and this is the place to come if you want to see all of the tropical plants that Hawaii has, and the giant mountains with the lush green foliage. The star here is the Eow Needle, which is this tall, spiky rock in the middle of nowhere. And there's about a half a mile paved pathway that you can walk to it. It's not a strenuous hike, but there are a ton of stairs. So, you know, your heart rate's gonna get up a little bit, but it's so beautiful. And you're just in this gorgeous tropical rainforest that you're not going to find anywhere else in the United States. So it's worth it to come and spend an hour or two here wandering around. And what's really cool is that there is a giant stream, and it's open to swimming. So pack a bathing suit, some water shoes, and a towel, and if it looks good to you, hop on in. It's freezing cold though, so if you're like me, I'm in sweatpants. I'm not going swimming in this river. I'm here in Lahaina on the west side of Maui, and I love this town because it's so old school. It's such a historic village. It used to be an old fishing village, and all of these beautiful old buildings are still standing right along the coastline, and they've been converted into shopping and dining and a ton of art galleries. So if you're into art, this is the place to come. But I really like it for an afternoon to just stroll around, grab some lunch. I'm looking at you, Star Noodle, and just, I don't know, see what you can find. The road to Hana is one of my favorite things to do when I'm on Maui. It's this 40+ mile stretch of super windy road that goes along the coastline and through a rainforest. And it's something that you're never going to see anywhere else. You're going to find waterfalls right on the side of the road where you can stop for a swim, rainbow eucalyptus trees, black sand beaches. When else are you going to see that? And the charm of it is that anytime you see something that piques your interest, just pull over and look. It's worth exploring. There's hiking trails, there's so much to see, but it is a full day. It can take at least 8 hours, usually closer to 10 or 12, because the road is so windy. You have to go really slow. So pack accordingly, fill up your gas tank beforehand because there's no stations along the way, pack some snacks, and wear a bathing suit and bring towels, and you are setting yourself up for the best day ever. Like I said at the beginning, there is no way I could have possibly shown you everything there is to do on Maui in just 1 week there. There's just so much. I mean, there's a winery on Maui. Who knew that? A lavender farm. There is a goat milk dairy farm. You can even do yoga with the goats. You know, obviously you have to get out onto the ocean, and I just didn't have time, so you should be snorkeling and doing whale watching or even just a dinner cruise. And so this was really just the tip of the iceberg. It's up to you now to visit and go discover your Maui. Find out what you can do there that I didn't get to show you. And then maybe you come back and you pop in the comments what your favorite thing was about your trip to Maui. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Heather. I will see you next time. And if you liked it, just click like, give a little subscribe. I appreciate it. Bye. Do I look haggard?
Okay.
I mean, I was at Haleakala at 3 a.m.